Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome to my first impressions of Destroy All Humans Remastered. This is being developed by Black Forest Games, original title by Pandemic Studios, and published by THQ Nordic. And that's a blast from the past right there. Anyway, after the SpongeBob remaster, which was done by the same publisher, I had a lot of expectations and high hopes for this one, because the SpongeBob remaster was quite good. And I'm happy to say that this game has exceeded my expectations. If you've never played the original, if you've never played the series before, if you're interested in the remaster, if you've played every game, you're going to find some information in this video that will be very useful to you, because we're going to kind of get into everything. I've played a little bit of every game, with the exception of the spin-offs. I've beaten Furon, Path of the Furon, which is considered to be a terrible video game. I didn't really have a problem with it, except for all the bugs and glitches. And performance problems. When that game originally came out, I think on Xbox 360 exclusively. The second game is, like, the best one in the series, many would say. It's got some of the best elements of the original just amplified. So it's a little bit of a wonder why they chose the first one remastered. Probably because, well, money. They don't want to start out with the best one and then, like, just go downhill from there. My assumption is. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about the remaster before we get into the core gameplay mechanics. So the environments look very pretty, actually. Very, very good. It's kind of clean in a strange way. It kind of reflects that very homogenized, very 1950s, 60s aesthetic. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but, it is very much an exaggerated version of the 1950s, 1960s aesthetic of America. Alright, so we actually got detected, so let's just blow some humans up. How about that? No one plays this game for the stealth or the infiltration missions, as we'll call them. So, you are a Furon named Crypto. You are here to destroy all humans. Why are you doing that? Well, actually, there's a pretty cool story with this game. It's got a lot of really good voice acting and a lot of cool missions. Basically, it's two parts. You have a Furon that crash-landed on Earth because, well, he was just kind of dumb. And he got captured, and now you gotta find him. Now, why is he dumb? Advanced alien species. Well, what's happening is that Furons can't reproduce. They have to clone themselves. And every time they clone themselves, the DNA strand weakens, so they kind of just get dumber. And the solution to this is that generations ago, a Furon crash-landed on Earth, breeded with a bunch of humans, and now every human has a little bit of Furon DNA, which we will just pop out of this guy right here. There we go. And now we have to harvest human/Furon DNA to preserve our glorious race. And it is quite a bit of fun. You have some really fun tools like the anal probe. Controls, by the way, are very, very good. The original had a ton of problems. The frame rate on it wasn't great. The controls on a PS2 controller just sucked. I think it was also on Xbox, I think. That, probably played a little better. But the main issues that shooters back in that generation, I believe, 6th gen, just didn't control. GameCube especially was pretty bad, even though I love that system. The only games that, were shooters that controlled well were games that didn't really use the C-Stick a whole lot, which were Metroid Prime and Resident Evil. So, Destroy All Humans, was a game that kind of did need a remaster. At the end of it, I think 2 was just much better in many technical regards as well. So, anyway, it controls like a dream. You have this jetpack that you can fly around in, as you can see. You can do a strafing function like a lock-on, so you can just kind of home in. You have this subtle hover going on before you hit the ground. You have so much extra control, and it really complements the variety the game had, the varied levels, the varied weaponry. And, of course, you can also upgrade your weapons if you get bored of them. There's also a saucer that you can get into and zap humans from outer space. Or not outer space, but, high above. In fact, let's get into that now before we talk about the PC port and into a mission. So in these free roam missions, you can kind of just destroy stuff, at your leisure. Some people were comparing it probably to Grand Theft Auto 5 back in the day. It's just got a free roam aspect to it. Now, there is a bit of poppin'. It's not great. And there are some performance issues with the Unreal Engine. And the particle physics, in particular, are just too blindingly annoying. There's also issues with controlling the officer. Sometimes you just overshoot a little bit. And you do also have that 1 meter like Grand Theft Auto 5. Or Grand Theft Auto. I know I just threw a bunch of shit, but it's just like everything just came back to me at once. The game does have some problems. Like the particle physics just don't look very good. I mean, some of the destruction looks okay, but I don't know what it is. Like, it just looks so blindingly, like, bright. I don't know why. I don't know why. You could also, of course, use different weapons, like Quantum Disruptor, which is pretty good. You can send people in the air. And, of course, you can actually move people around with telekinesis, which has a few issues on controllers. Basically, when you're trying to pick a target up. But sometimes, like, I'll grab the wrong thing, and it's a common thing that happens in this game. You can, of course, pick up cars as well, which is fun. So yeah, throwing humans around, really fun. Zapping them, blowing them up, destroying cars, explosives, killing other humans. It's just a lot of fun. And the game has a weird, it's got a very anti-hero charm to it. I like it a lot because it's actually weird. You're fighting a government agency that is actually almost as harmful as the invading aliens that you're fighting with. So it's like, oh yeah, what were we gonna do? Well, we gotta brainwash the humans so that they don't know about us. Okay, well, how are we gonna do that? Well, the government was already doing that, so we gotta stop them. So we're stopping the government from brainwashing. It's like, okay, that's it's a little silly. All right, is it actually gonna load the? Well, I think I screwed that up. We'll actually look at the options menu right now. But yeah, if you're wondering about, like, how fun is the game, does it hold up? Yes, it is very good. The level variety per mission is very fun. Now, they do have some instant failure missions that are a little annoying, especially at the beginning, but as you get further into the game, you do more destruction missions. You don't have to sneak around and body snatched. Actually, I shouldn't even say body snatched. That's in the second game. It's Holobob, the cloning. Anyway, controller options, sensitivity, lock on targets, focus mode, switch. Very good. It's like, the controller options are alright in terms of, like, making very small tweaks, but there is no, presets. Like, this is it. Here's your saucer controls, here's your crypto, ground, movement controls. Not great. You also have mouse controls down there. Key bindings, fully rebindable with secondary keys, and everything in this game is labeled, which is nice. All your powers are labeled, so if you've been playing on controller for a while or mouse and keyboard for a while, switching between them is fairly easy. Separate audio options. Once again, this game it's got a lot going on for it. Full screen, I don't think I'm playing it at 720p right now. I think that's just a weird bug. I swear I had it higher, but whatever. Everything's on ultra, and it's running alright. Like, I'm getting dips below 60. But this is a press release copy. This is on Ultra 1440p. It is a 1070 Ti, though. I'm just hoping that they'll fix some of the problems. But yeah, it's a decent port. Pretty good. Can't complain too much, gotta say. Alright, so we're going to return to the mothership. Also, if you happen to ever get confused, you have all your abilities kind of referenced right over here, which is nice. You don't play the game for a few days, whatever, you drop it, and then you forget how to play. Even though everything's labeled, it's very easy to get back into. I like that.
A faster upgrade, perhaps? No? How about your gun or your abilities?
So this is where the RPG elements come in. As you do missions, as you do bonus objectives, you can unlock skins and artwork, but you can also get enhanced abilities. So we're actually going to upgrade our shields here if we can. Crypto shields are temporarily indestructible after taking a hit. And we could also look at some other stuff. So, psychokinesis. This one will allow us to throw vehicles. So we need 6,000 for that. Cortex scan. So if you want to increase the duration of your holobob, the ability to, transform into other humans, keep that going, you got to get this. There are other mechanics in the game too, like how when you're having one of those disguises, of course, if you shoot anything, it breaks the disguise. However, there are agents that could rapidly increase the decay of the disguise, so that's something to look out for. Again, the game has very, very good variety, whether it be enemy, like design ideas. I mean, they all eventually just run around and shoot you, which is a bit of a problem. But, you have tanks, you have mines, you have turrets, you have all kinds of things. I mean, some of it's a little bit annoying to fight, but, it is decent variety. It is, it's not quantity over quality for the most part. Okay, let's try this one. I'm not going to talk too much over this one because I want you to hear some of the dialogue. Now, the only problem is that in Destroy All Humans 2, they had this great dynamic between Crypto and Orthopox. Both of them are kind of wisecracking, but the voice acting of both was really good throughout these series, and in the second one they had more back and forth dialogue, which made it more interesting. I wouldn't call it the buddy cop dynamic, but it was kind of close. It was very good.
They don't look so tough.
Looks can deceive. These urban humans are savvier, grittier,
Stringier.
harder to fool. Keep your eyes sharp and your wits sharper.
Not in the open. Duck in here. Hold the frequency.
Hit me. We're go for phase 1.
Our guys inside the station?
Just waiting for the word.
And the tape?
In the briefcase, all queued up.
Subliminal TV messages. What'll Majestic think of next?
Search me.
You know what a rhetorical question is?
Not a clue.
Come on. Those black suits again. What's a Majestic?
I'm not certain, but it gives me an idea, Crypto.
Wait, let me grab something to write with.
If our plan is to succeed, simply reading human minds will be insufficient. We must control them. To ease the harvesting of their brainstems, grease the wheels, so to speak.
Sounds like a gas. How do we do it?
I believe your ebon-garbed friends have provided us direction.
It's funny because the aliens are more human in their performances than the actual humans. The humans just are a little goofy, and that's kind of the charm there too. There was an earlier mission where you were killing a bunch of rednecks, and they were, well, you know, you could kind of imagine that. You had to take control of one of the mayor, it's just one of the characters who was the mayor, and calm down the crowds, and you would you would have to actually have dialogue options to sway the crowd in your favor and convince them, like, oh, there's no aliens, it's just all a bunch of strange coincidences. And one of the options was like, oh yeah, you know, it's a bunch of communists attacking us. It's very overblown, very over-exaggerated 1950s, 60s. I just like it. It's just very weird. They try to do all kinds of things like pop culture and parody, and it's, you know, it works fairly well for the most part. But I think 2 was just a lot better. The game has a lot of cutscenes. Of course, they are skippable, but, you know, they don't last too long, which is fine. Now, I'm trying to think. There just isn't really much to knock regarding this remaster. Obviously, like, there are there's, like, you know, the particle effects that I'm not a big fan of. There's the, you know, instant failure missions, which, you know, aren't too bad once you start doing a few of them, but I think the only big problem is that, like, when I look at 2, it's like, oh man, the back and forth between Orthopox and Crypto was just so much better, so much more enjoyable. The writing was just so much better. Like, this game's supposed to be a comedy game. Like, you know, it's supposed to have a lot of dark comedy in it too, and sometimes it has that through something like the dialogue, but most of the time it's just like, that was a good little chuckle.
Human race to be Sleepy Ernstus's experimental guinea pigs. They should be all guinea pigs.
It's a remaster that I'd say is worth your time if you haven't played the original and you were looking into, you know, playing it in general. If you played the original already, it's going to be a hell of a lot easier to get back into, I'll tell you that. And I feel like that they did a good job here, and you're just working with a game that has its own share of flaws that really couldn't be fixed. There are some other issues too, like how in the cutscenes you might have noticed the mics, whatever the mics they're using, or how they mix the original audio into the game. I don't think they remastered that audio. I think it's just how it used to be. Maybe they're using higher quality sound samples, but my point is that it just sounds a little bit muffled, a little compressed. But, you know, overall, I gotta say, it's a fun-ass game. Like, really good, worth picking up. Mission variety is there, you know, it's nice. It's nice to play a game where it's not just, oh yeah, just shoot everything over and over again. Sometimes you're bending antennas to set up a broadcast and mind control the populace. You know, you don't get that. You don't get, like, the context for a lot of these missions in other games, where you're not only doing something different in the missions, but there's a reason why. Like, why are we doing this? Oh, we need to, you know, activate Bravo Tango Point Delta and then move on to Bravo Tango Point Charlie and then Bravo. No, you're like, let's subjugate the humans by brainwashing them, and then we're gonna kill a bunch of government men. It's awesome. I love this game. It's anti-CIA as fuck. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much gonna be it for me. I'm gonna be rambling at this point. Destroy All Humans Remastered. Give it a look-see. It is a good remaster. It is a much improved game. Get it, if not, to support the franchise, and just get a new game in this franchise, hopefully. Because I'd love to see more creative games like this come back again from the 6th generation, the GameCube, PS2, and Xbox era. A lot more creativity back then, and we just don't have it anymore. I'm sorry, we don't. Especially with the next generation of consoles or anything to go by. And this gen hasn't been that great to begin with. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. I'm out.